Is This Love? Bob Marley and the Wailers. You're listening to Mark Rhodes on BBC Radio WM. Now, it's an exciting time, isn't it? Obviously, the football season is slowly drawing to an end. Not yet, it's got a couple of months, but I'm a Wolves fan, so pretty much has finished now for me. But, as an England fan, the World Cup, it's happening. And most football fans will remember their first World Cup, the one where you followed it absolutely religiously at home. You collected all the stickers in the album. I remember 1990 was probably my first one, Italian 90. You fell in love with a player, Paul Gascoigne, and maybe pretended to be them on the school playground. We all did it. So, of course, you'd want the kit to look just like your hero, right? Well, if you wanted to buy a replica England kit for your child for this summer's event, it's going to cost you almost £123. Fancy an adult shirt with a number on the back for yourself? More than £100, £105 to be precise. Is that too much? Well, on the line, we have got our consumer expert, Scott Dixon. Scott, great to speak to you, mate. How are you this fine Wednesday?
I'm good, fine, thanks. How are you?
Absolutely. A top of the world, mate. Can you take us through, Scott, the prices that they are charging here?
Yeah, well, the facts from the BBC article that's gone online this morning, an adult stadium shirt is £89.99, so £90. An adult match shirt is £135. That's an 8% increase on the Euro 24 jersey. A kid's shirt starts at £65 and it goes up to £115. That's if you want to add £60 for the player name on the back. And a family of four could spend between £400 and £500 on a kit. And the cost to produce the kits, it's £8.50 to make and ship it, £9.50 for marketing, licensing and distribution. And there's the profit of £64.49 is split between the manufacturer and the retailer. That's based on the shirt costing over £100. The retailer markup is 61.4% profit.
That is a high markup, isn't it? But saying that though, in England we're talking about the kit prices. But how does that compare to other countries, Scott? Are we thinking, actually this is really pricey? But if it's the same all over the world, then I suppose we ain't got a leg to stand on, have we?
Well, it's interesting you should raise that point because in Scotland and Wales, the kits are cheaper and they're made by Nike. And they're about £50 a pop, apparently. So why are England fans paying more than fans in Scotland and Wales? I think it just smacks of profiteering, if the truth be known. And when you see the analysis by the sports merchandise experts who break down the costs and the markups, the unintended consequences mean that loyal fans will be tempted to buy cheap counterfeits, which are known to fund organised crime and cheap labour abroad.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, Scott, because I suppose that is the problem, isn't it? Because you've got your kid or kids asking for this shirt. We're in a cost of living crisis. These shirts are, let's be honest, they're not cheap. So they're looking into how to get them a bit cheaper. And as you rightly say, if you're buying counterfeit goods and you're funding these organised crimes, crime networks, then it's kind of like, oh man, rocking a hard place. It seems to be at the minute, Scott.
It is, and I can understand why families and fans would go for cheap counterfeits, but that's the unintended consequence. And whilst the FA and football generally would say that nobody's forced to buy the kits and it's top quality, it's top sport merchandise, costs have gone up. When it comes down to the fact that it's cost under £20 to make these shirts and they're selling them for over £100, fans will rightly question it. And they may say, the kits last 2 years, isn't that good value? It helps, but people have got to find the upfront costs today, and that's the barrier. And, I'm not telling people what to do in terms of boycotting it, but it's power in numbers, and fans do have a choice. And if you vote with your feet and your wallets, it sends a clear message out that, if enough people are refused to pay it, they may realise that the prices have just gone too far.
Yeah, that is true. And what you've said is really interesting about like England's tops actually being more expensive than our home nation's neighbours. That's really, really interesting. I wonder why that is the case. And you say like the markup, and it might be just greed based. Then that's got to that has got to, I suppose, bring the consumer. They're going to get really quite cross with that, aren't they, Scott? And actually, just not put their hand in the pocket in the end.
Yeah, and personally, I wouldn't pay it. And, families have got other priorities during what is a never-ending cost of living crisis. And the problem that families face is other kids will have the kids. And, we've all been children ourselves. And, the kiddie pressure on parents to keep up with the other kids. And, kids don't want to feel as though they're left out. And parents... It's difficult. It really is. And I think it smacks not just at profiteering, but it's exploiting loyal fans who simply just can't justify or afford it.
Yeah. Well, Scott, great to speak to you, our consumer expert there. Thank you so much. And the BBC have contacted the FA and Nike for comment. We'll let you know if one arrives. I'd love to get your reaction to this. What's the most that you've ever spent or refused to spend on a sports kit? Doesn't have to be football, could be rugby, could be cricket, anything. Has there been a moment that you've actually said, no, I'm just not paying that? Because it is hard, isn't it? Especially, I've got two kids, my own. Like my little lad, especially, he's like obsessed with football kits, and it's so expensive. And it's your kids that are asking. So what do you do? And as I said, you rock and a hard place springs to mind. But let me know, 81333, and we'll be getting some feedback from hopefully some England fans in a few minutes' time.